Watching this bonus 155 round with the top attack submunitions. That's one thing that it's kind of weird. When I think about what could be brought to bear against the force that I'm seeing today with my own eyes, uh, it's staggering. It is. I'm like, oh my God, those poor fucking bastards, man. Those Russians have no idea how lucky they are that they got an old 1990s system, in limited numbers sent to Ukraine. Wow. So, an F 16 can fly over and drop one bomb. This bomb is going to open up and it's going to eject 24 separate skeets. These skeets are basically cans filled with a very high speed explosive with a copper cone, your typical, but they're top attack. They're coming down on parachutes. And then when it finally finds a target, it looks for a tank all by itself. You just drop this bomb, and for 600 yards, these things are spinning a laser like this on the ground. Oh, there's a tank. And then it knows where you are, and now it drops the parachute, and a rocket motor goes off. The rocket motor shoots it up over towards the tank, and boom. Copper jet right through the object. And you don't have to guide it. It guides itself. It's not a rocket where you have to sit back here like a, the Bofors or something like that, right? That you're having to fire by aiming. Javelins are expensive. Just think about flying over with two F-16s. Each one of them has two of these devices on it. And you have a column of Russian vehicles. So we're talking about taking out 200 vehicles. See, this is the problem with top attack, that type, and why they're using it in the 155 shell with just two of them. Because they're not guided with a computer system that says your buddy's already got him targeted. So you'll get these things, all of them shooting at the same tank kind of a thing, right? But I've talked about these before. They were used one time in the Iraq War, once, and it was so effective. Because this thing's going off hundreds of feet in the air and still going right through a tank. And they used it one time and it was so effective, everyone went, well, maybe we should just keep this technology over here. Russia has no fucking idea what could be brought to bear against them. And I just feel sorry for those bastards, man. They have no fucking idea what a real, not that the Ukrainian army isn't a real army. They just didn't have the wherewithal. But I'm looking at all these reserve tanks that Russia has, and the satellite pictures are showing tanks don't even have turrets on them, sitting out in the weather. They don't have the technology to get that tank going again. Even if the motor runs perfect, if the turret's off, okay, there's no electronics in there, and in order to get your night vision and your sights and all these things, yeah, fuck. Yeah, this top attack munition in the 155 is two of these, but there's 24 in each one of the bombs. So, yeah, I think it doesn't really go to the turret either. It basically normally aims at the engine compartment because it's not just a laser heat targeting, but it's also laser infrared targeting. Yeah, they just have no idea what could happen. They're limited on where and when they use their HIMARS. But the ATACMS, if you've never seen a demonstration of the ATACMS, there's some on YouTube. Devastating. We're talking about balls this big. Okay? harder than steel. Um, 24,000 or something of them, something ridiculous like that. Just going through everything. It's a crazy looking demonstration. And then the HIMARS with anti-personnel rounds, where it goes off above the ground and all around this vast area, four football fields stuck side by side and then end to end, right? Every inch of that has something going through it. There's really no escape. So the Russians just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm shocked. I don't know how to explain it other than this is what you get from corruption. This is what corruption buys a country and a society. This is what bad government can end up looking like. Okay, this is what real greed and avarice and you know inhuman behavior, because they don't care about the people that they're supposed to be working for. This is where politics can go, okay? Where basically you end up looking like a laughing stock to the world. You were the shit, but then you got called out. You were the big bully on the block, but then the little skinny guy knocked you on your fucking ass. Now your cred is gone, and you're trying to get it back by trying to beat up on everyone else, or saying, he's now the bully, right? Shocking. They just haven't seen what could have been brought to bear in the beginning of the war. There wouldn't have been a withdrawal. It would have looked like the road back to Baghdad. Do you remember that, when everyone tried to get out of Kuwait, the highway of death? That's what it would have looked like. And they weren't using sensor-fused weapons either. They were just using guns and multiple bomblet type weapons. Yeah. Yeah, you put yourself in a bad spot when your government, your representatives have all become absolutely corrupt and self-interest, and they use fear tactics and this type of thing to stay in power. They brainwashing and propaganda is their main way of maintaining control. The trouble is that you see the brain drain that happened when Russia. Everyone wasn't stupid. All the very old people who believe everything said on Russian television, just like the Fox News viewers, they're like gung-ho, Russia's absolutely going to stop the Nazis. We're fighting all of NATO. No, you're not fighting all of NATO. You can barely fucking take on Ukraine. Okay? Let's have about 60 sorties a day from 30 or 40 aircraft flying into Russia. Okay, that would be you fighting all of NATO. Right now, you're fighting an enemy who has the moral law on their side, and they can't lose. That's your problem. And, Russia's ready for talks, but America is the one that put the kibosh on that. And Brussels, they're the ones that put the kibosh on that. I heard that on one of these YouTube channels that was supposedly pro-Ukraine, okay? And what I was hearing was a bunch of fucking nonsense. I'm like, Ukraine doesn't need the United States to tell them, no, fuck you, we're not going to do that. Ukraine has made it quite clear what their goals are, okay? And to say that the United States is to be blamed for that is ludicrous, okay? So, no, you couldn't take on NATO. And if the United States decided that, okay, we're going to get into this war, it maybe 2 weeks. And when I say that, I'm serious. It's just hard for me to even believe what's coming out of my mouth. But I can't deny the truth that I'm seeing. I can't look at what Russia is doing and go, oh, well, yeah, there's this giant, massive war machine hidden over here that no one's seen yet, and this could be unleashed at any time and could wipe out the Russians. This is just a little exercise we're doing. Well, I don't believe that. I think that Russia's given it its best fucking effort right now and has fallen flat on its face because its tires were made in China and they all popped when they went in the beginning. They had this shitty training and people that didn't want to fight, people that didn't know why they were there. and then you had a mercenary force, right, that was basically not getting along with your general military, and you threw them all in a fight together until pretty soon your mismanagement of the war has caused you to go looking at prisons for fucking people to, fill boots. All your smart people that could help you develop weapons and technologies and that type of thing, you chased them out of your country. Russia is destroying itself. Every move it makes is the wrong fucking move, right? The very first wrong move they made was going into Ukraine, thinking that they were going to get greeted with flowers and shit because that's what everyone wanted. Well, you're believing your own propaganda if you think that. You drank your own Kool-Aid if that's true. So, no, Russia has no idea. I feel sorry for those guys. They haven't seen any kind of technology yet. They haven't seen anything that could be brought to bear. You know what I mean? And they should be thankful that Ukraine is where Vladimir Putin chose to go and not attack a NATO country.